You've done a lot of research and you've finally compiled the list of the film festivals you want to submit to. So how do you submit? In the last episode, I walked you through post-production, and now we get to the big stuff, film festivals. Hi, I'm Katya Alexander, and this is Pocket Change Films, the podcast where I teach you how to make your films with your pocket change. I then teach you how to build a portfolio, then get money for your projects, and then hopefully make your first micro-budget feature. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Katya Alexander. I sold a feature to a Bamarama, and then had a feature that premiered at and won South by Southwest, and was later bought by IFC and was a trending film on Hulu for 14 weeks.
Pocket change, pocket fame, film in the swamp. Will I have to scream when we hit play in the dark? Innovation, creation on a shoestring beat. Join the journey, feel the heat and everything.
One of the places I'd like to start is explaining the film festival schedule. So there is a film festival season throughout the year. It begins with Sundance, which is usually in January or really early February. Then you have South by Southwest, which is usually in March. And then you have Tribeca, which is in May or June. As for the global film festivals, between South by Southwest and Tribeca, you have the Cannes Film Festival and the Venice Film Festival. And lastly, after Tribeca, you have the Toronto Film Festival. I would say that those are the major 6 to get into. They're sort of the career-making film festivals, or the film festival that you have the highest chance of making a sale. They also are really big reach film festivals, and they tend to have really high fees. But I wanted to explain the schedule using those film festivals because that's usually how I base any of my project schedules on. Because Sundance and South by Southwest are so early in the year, the deadlines for submitting to those film festivals are usually in September or October. Sometimes you can reach out to a film festival to get an extension, but I really don't suggest doing that, especially if it's your first time submitting to that film festival. If they haven't reached out and expressed interest in your film, or you don't know the people there, or you're not an alumni at that film festival, I would really suggest getting it in on time, if not early. Also, the earlier you submit your film to a film festival, the cheaper the festival is going to be. Because the film festival season pretty much starts in September, October, in terms of actually submitting your film, I usually base all of my deadlines on those dates. Especially with a feature, you have to think really far in advance, but for a short, you still have to think in advance. If you made your film in February, you are going to probably sit on that film all the way into the fall, unless you don't care about which film festivals you go to, you just want to get into any film festival. At the same time, taking that time to perfect your film, if you film it in February, let's say, is really good anyway. Giving yourself time is such a blessing. So don't worry about the fact that you might have to sit on your film for a while, because it might be the thing that saves you in the end. You usually hear back from those film festivals in like December and January, so it does give you a really good chance to plan your year, because the next submissions are Tribeca and Venice and Cannes. So sometimes you can actually wait to hear back from a film festival before you've even submitted your film to the next film festivals. And then, as I said again, Tribeca and Toronto are the last film festivals of the year, and so they have the latest submission date. If you don't care about having your festival season start at Sundance, and let's say you did film your film in February, you can just start with submitting to Tribeca and to Toronto. And that's true for any of the film festivals that you are going to submit to. Whenever I submit my film to a film festival, I usually use the website Filmfreeway, which I will put in the description below. But some festivals don't allow you to do that. You have to submit it through their website. So just kind of keep track of that, especially on a spreadsheet, especially when you're waiting to hear back from festivals. It's good to keep the notification dates organized somehow. A lot of the film festivals will tell you when you're going to be notified by as well, so you don't have to just sit and wait forever. Okay, so now let's talk about the film festival tiers. There's definitely different levels of film festivals, and that's really great, especially if you're just starting out, because it gives people a chance to actually get into film festivals and get laurels on their website. I mentioned before the top 6 would be Sundance, South by Southwest, Tribeca, Cannes, Venice, and Toronto. Toronto is also known by TIFF, if you've heard TIFF instead of Toronto. I would say that the next tier of film festivals, you'll see it on the Filmfreeway. You can start organizing film festivals by the things that they qualify for. Some film festivals are Oscar qualifying, which means if your short film gets into that film festival, it's immediately qualifying to get an Oscar nomination or win. The big 6 that I mentioned are also Oscar qualifying, of course, but there's a lot of little film festivals that are Oscar qualifying as well. You're not distinguishing those film festivals because your goal is to be nominated for an Oscar specifically. You're distinguishing those film festivals because you know that it's a bit of a higher tier film festival. It just will mean more on a resume or later when you're trying to meet up with sales agents or agents in general. And you have non-Oscar qualifying film festivals that are still pretty large film festivals, meaning they might take bigger films or it might just have a really big budget around the film festival. One of the ways you can figure that out is how many years the film festival has been going. On Filmfreeway, when you go to the festival, it will tell you what year this film festival is in. So just because the film festival is not Oscar qualifying, if it has a lot of years on it, it probably has a bigger budget and is technically a bigger film festival. You can also go on their website and check out pictures and like different locations that the film festival is going to be. And then lastly, there are super local film festivals. Now those range. It could be a really local thing to a town, or sometimes people host like monthly film festivals from like a warehouse or something. But those are still really good because A, you have a higher chance of getting in, B, you can still network with lots of people, and C, you still got into a film festival, which does mean a lot in this industry. So how do you know which film festival to apply to? If it's your first film, I wouldn't expect to get into any of the major 6 film festivals, but you might. I've had friends that on their first try, they got into one of the major film festivals. So don't discount your first film, but be really honest with yourself because festivals can be really expensive and you don't want to spend $50 to $100 on a festival submission that you know deep down you have no chance of actually getting into. One of the ways to figure out if the festival is a good fit for you is watching all of the past films that were in that film festival. See if it matches the quality of your film, see if it matches the themes of your film, see if your film looks like it's going to be one of the things that is picked for the festival. I also treat submitting to film festivals a little bit like submitting to college. You want to submit to a couple of reach festivals that you're not sure if you're going to get in, but you still could get in, and it'd be awesome if you did. Then some medium film festivals that you think you have a good chance. You're not 100% sure, but you feel way more confident in those. And then a couple of subtle film festivals that you're like, I will definitely get into these film festivals. It heightens your chances of getting into a film festival at the same time, not limiting yourself, still reaching for those bigger film festivals that might take you to the next level. The other thing to look for are festivals that have specific themes. If you're a female filmmaker, there are lots of festivals out there geared for female filmmakers, especially if it was written by a woman, directed by a woman, produced by a woman, shot by a woman. If you have a full female team, definitely apply to every single female film festival that you can find. There are also festivals based on genre like sci-fi or horror, and they're just like a lot of different film festivals with different themes. So try to submit to the film festivals that match the theme or genre of your movie. So film festivals can be expensive, like I said. So how do you prioritize which film festivals to submit to and which film festivals not to? You can use the tier system that I just explained, but it goes deeper than that. One of the things I tell people is if you get into a film festival and you even win a really big award at that festival, if you don't physically go to the film festival, it's going to mean significantly less. So I do tell people to prioritize submitting to film festivals that they could physically go to. Have it be it's close by, or you know someone in the area so you can stay with them, or it's a place where airfare is really cheap to get into. Submitting to and getting into film festivals that you could actually physically go to is going to do so much for your career, even if they're tiny film festivals. I have met so many amazing people that I work with today at the smallest film festivals you could imagine. Like literally in a school basement. And there are agents and managers that reach out to me asking, hey, could you give me a list of some of the small film festivals? I want to go check them out to scout out new talent. So even going to a really small film festival, you might meet an agent or manager that might become interested in you, especially because it's not as competitive in the really small film festivals. So you have a higher chance of actually talking to an agent and manager while you're there. After you prioritize the film festivals that you could actually physically go to, then I would start prioritizing the film festivals that match the genre of your film. An example, I just talked to a group that's making a film that is Shakespeare themed, and one of the pieces of advice I gave them was look up all the places that have like really big Shakespeare festivals or Shakespeare in the Park or Shakespeare companies, and then look for film festivals in that area and submit your film to those festivals. Because you can say in your cover letter, I want to go to this festival because I know that there's a big Shakespeare audience in this area, and it makes the reason for getting you into the festival significantly more personal, which heightens your chances of getting in. So be strategic about where your film actually fits. We all want to go to Cannes, we all want to go to Sundance and South by Southwest, but having your film fit in the film festival will both allow you to network with people that are making content like your content, network with agents and managers that are interested in people who are making the content that you're making, and you just have a higher chance of getting in, which is, pretty important. Okay, so you've done a lot of research and you finally compiled the list of the film festivals you want to submit to. So how do you submit? Like I said, you can submit through Filmfreeway, but take that extra step. On Filmfreeway, you're able to submit it with a cover letter. Go through that film festival, find out something that's specific only to that film festival, and include that in your cover letter. I tell people, if you can copy and paste your cover letter, you have not written out the cover letter correctly. Let's say you're making a horror film and you use new technology to make that film, and you see that the film festival you're applying to also has a technology festival. That's a really good reason to want your film into that festival. You can tell them, I've made this horror film and I really wanted to go to your film festival specifically because I used new technology to make it. And I know you have a tech festival and I want to be able to talk about the new technology in my film to people who are interested. So my film is going to fit your audience and your audience is going to fit my film. You want to make the application as personal as possible. Why do you want to go to that film festival? Not just any film festival, that film festival. And why would that festival want your movie? Then I would reach out to people in your community and see if anybody is an alumni of that film festival. If they are an alumni, ask them to make a warm welcome to somebody at the festival. Just saying, hey, meet my friend. They just submitted their film to your festival. I just wanted to bring that to your attention and make sure that you saw it. You're obviously not going to be like, let me into the festival, but you just say, I just wanted to make sure that you saw my film. Being able to kind of put a name and a person to the film will make them watch your film with way more interest and really heightens your chances. Also, that little information that you put in your cover letter, put in that email as well. Why do you want to go to that specific film festival? As you're getting into festivals and winning awards and starting your tour, I would reach out to all the festivals you haven't heard back from yet and keep them updated. Say, hey, we just premiered at this festival and it went really well. Hey, we just went to this film festival and we won Best Director. Hey, we just went to this film festival and we won Best Actress and Best Cinematography. I just wanted to update you. And then they'll usually tell you, okay, we've updated your application. And it allows people to stay informed about your film and give your film a second or third watch if they haven't already. The other thing I want to say about festivals is sometimes they reject you not because your film isn't good, but just because it doesn't fit with their programming that year. I've talked to festivals that will say, oh my God, we loved your film, but we didn't have any other submissions that were similar to your movie, so we couldn't create a short film block out of it. They tend to figure out what their short film blocks are going to be as they're getting submissions. They might say, oh my God, we got 5 movies about brothers. Let's have a brother section. Oh, we got 5 movies about funerals. Let's have a funeral section. If you're submitting a film that isn't like anybody else's movie that submitted that year, you might not get in. It's not your fault, and you still should have made that movie. I will also say I have made films that didn't get into any film festivals, and it didn't really matter. I still was able to have a portfolio piece, and that film still led to more jobs. The last thing I wanted to say about festivals are some of the kind of unspoken rules of the film festival world. One of which I've touched on before, but it's don't make your movie over 15 minutes long. If your movie's over 15 minutes, the odds of getting to a festival are really low. And if you can make your film 10 minutes or less, I suggest that. The other one would be that the sound quality is so important. It's one of the things that's often overlooked. And I'll watch a film that looks beautiful and has a really interesting story, but it just sounds so unprofessional. It's just really hard to accept that film into the festival. And then lastly, make sure you look at the festival's requirements and that you're not breaking any of their requirements. An example, a lot of festivals will require that your film is not published online. And some festivals require that you're premiering there, like Sundance. It's why Sundance starts the festival season. It's one of the festivals that if you've gotten into and screened at any other film festival, you're not allowed to screen there. So make sure if you have a couple of film festivals that you really, really want to go to, look up all of their requirements and make sure you're not breaking any of them. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment or message me. Make sure that you like, follow, and subscribe. My name is Katya Alexander, and this is Pocket Change Films.